All right, let's talk LUTs. How's it going, everyone? I'm Aaron Datsy. Welcome to another wedding walkthrough Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about LUTs or lookup tables. Basically, it's just like a color pack, if you can, I guess if you want to look at it that way, or like a filter for your footage. Now, depending on how you shoot, like if you shoot S-Log, HLG, or you shoot Cine 4 like me, LUTs can be used either as a conversion LUT. So if you are a S-Log shooter, most of the time you will be using a conversion LUT from S-Log to Rec 709, and then from there you could add on more color correction and then color grading. Some people, when they do use LUTs, if they use LUTs, they either put it on first and then they do their color correction and color grading after, or they do their color correction, color grading, and then their LUT. Sometimes they have like a finishing LUT, stuff like that. There's like LUTs for all kinds of different workflows out there. Specifically today, I'm going to be showing you how I use my LUTs that I create through Color Finale Pro. So for me, I shoot with an external monitor. It's a Atomos Shinobi. I used to shoot with the Atomos Ninja V, but now I don't really need the external recorder feature, so I switched down to the Shinobi. And in the Shinobi, you could load up your monitor with LUTs. A lot of external monitors have this feature. I know the Small HD has that feature, and like the Andy Cine monitor has that feature. So when I record, I'm basically looking at how it's gonna look like after I apply that LUT. So a lot of the times when I do apply my LUTs in post-production, especially for color grading and color mastering and all that stuff, I put the LUT on the actual footage and then I do my corrections after, and then I put in some more like stylized grading. And if you do use this approach, or you want to tackle this approach from now on, here's how I kind of put on that LUT that I work with. There are two ways. You could go into your actual browser tab or browser window, and all the clips that you shot specifically with that camera, if you only shoot with one camera or you shoot with multiple cameras, you could select all of them, go to your inspector tab and go down to settings, then camera LUT, and then you could import whatever LUT you want to add. So since I do shoot with an external monitor, I'll use the same LUT I used to monitor the footage with. So and it does look exactly the same how I saw it on my monitor when I did shoot all this footage. So there's nothing new here whenever I look at it. So how I looked at it on the monitor is how it was shot. Another way you could apply your LUTs is by going to your effects. So we'll undo all that, or actually I'll click the footage, take off that LUT. So say you want to play around with the intensity of it and not just have it as a default. So this would be for a lot of people that don't shoot S-Log, or I guess don't monitor their footage with an external monitor with their LUT inputted in. So you wouldn't do the whole inspector thing and do the camera LUT that way. You'd actually go to your effects, click on the footage that you want, go under color, custom LUT, and then choose whatever LUTs you want. Again, I'm using the same one I used to monitor. Nothing too crazy in terms of like the difference. See, it's literally the same thing, whether you use custom LUT as an effect or just use the camera LUT in the inspector tab. The only difference I find is if you want to fine tune your LUT and say that you've made a fully customized LUT that really you want to just put as like a plug and play and have it for every footage, then maybe I could see how you would want to use the effects and then dial in the intensity or the mix. So if it's set to 0, there's basically no LUT. Set to 50 or 0.5, then it's like half the LUT. So you could kind of adjust how much intensity of your LUT you have. And most LUTs that you buy, like outside of creating your own, are super intense, super saturated, and super like contrasty. So they are meant, some LUTs are very much more meant to like dial the intensity up or down. In my LUT specifically, I try to have it more like get the skin tones looking as great as possible with the LUT, and then I do my adjustments. So the typical workflow for me would be put on the LUT either this way or just through the inspector. And then next I would go to my color finale and add my color finale, and then from there I'd tweak the exposure, I'd take away some contrast, pivot it probably up just to see more, and then from there I'll adjust like the temperature and the tint. But most of the time that should be pretty good, you know, something like that. Or you could even see that that's one of the examples of when the color dropper doesn't really work too well. You could use auto, and usually again, look, auto looks really great from Color Finale. Which is, I mean, I don't know how they get it to look so good with their auto feature on Color Finale, but I mean that really helps with knowing where to start. So you could either use auto, and if it looks good from there, you could fine tweak it a little bit to how you like. But outside of that, that's how it would look, and then I add my stylized color grade onto it. So that's just warm tones to the skin and like some blue tones to the shadow. And you could very much make multiple LUTs or use multiple LUTs or different things. So maybe you have your base correction LUT, which is, say, if you are an S-Log shooter, you will use like a conversion LUT S-Log to Rec 709 or C-Log to Rec 709, and then from there you do your fine corrections, and then you could apply another LUT on top of that. That is your stylized look or your grade in a way. So whatever you do, if you do teal and orange, stuff like that, whatever you do that. But that is just a little bit about LUTs and how to use them and how I use them into my workflow when it comes to grading and color grading a wedding film. I very much will use the same kind of method for when I do corporate work, because I do use the same picture profile. But for these like YouTube videos, for example, I shoot everything in S-Log just because it's a controlled environment and I don't really need to worry too much about like trying to get everything out as fast as possible. Because with my picture profile, I have it set to cinema color space. That way, like, it looks good, and then I just don't really need to do much after I apply my own LUT and then do some fine corrections. So I mean, I very much want to hop onto the S-Log bandwagon when it comes to shooting weddings, but at the same time, it's a lot more work and a lot more unnecessary time into my workflow. So the faster, again, I could get it out, and the quality, if it's still just as good, why not just stick with it? Comment down below if you have any tips for using LUTs, or if you have any LUTs that you want to share with me. I'm by all means super down for it. Or if you want to share your picture profile with me, I'm again always down to trying new things out. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like the video if you like it, share if you're into that, consider subscribing if you're not already. Hit that bell notification to stay up to date when I post new videos. And as always, follow me on all them social medias at Aaron Datu Films. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.